And Twitch streaming
You okay?
sucks. I fucking hate it. It's been bad for a few months.
Yeah, but just have fun with it. Like, if you have fun with it, it doesn't matter. Forget about the money. Just have fun.
It's my job, though. I have to focus on the fucking money.
I know you do, but that's unfortunately, like, you can't control the money. You can only control the content, you know? Like, you can't control how much money people give you. That's not going to be something you can control.
Hello, guys! Listen, it brings me absolutely zero joy to break down someone else's messy money problems, but here we are again. I'm not Caleb Hammer, I'm no financial wizard, and I'm definitely not out here pretending to run anyone's budget, unless we're talking about people who've done things so wild that calling them out feels like community service. And trust me, some of these folks have done stuff a billion times worse, so I don't exactly lose sleep over it, because trust me, it is hilarious. Let me give you a little context. Without it, the whole thing just hits different, and not in a good way. Frogan lived out in Michigan, Detroit to be exact, and decided to pack it all up and head to LA to chase the influencer dream, just like so many people do. And sure, I guess technically I'd fall somewhere in that category too. But here's the thing. I never flew across the country to make it, especially when I can literally stream from my own place or anywhere else on the whole planet. I could be in Dubai, Japan, Europe, anywhere, and still get my work done without blowing my whole life savings. I'm not an actor, I'm not a musician, I don't need the LA zip code to survive. But Frogan, she really moved out there and then immediately started begging for rent money, which is wild, because we all know she's basically a Sun Piker's waiting room number 3. The first 2 seats are taken by Casey Tron and Dennis, and then boom, Frogan strolls in. That's literally her designated role in this whole universe, in case anyone forgot. Yeah, this woman really traveled across the entire country to become an influencer, only to land in one of the most expensive places in America and start sinking in debt without making any real money. Oh my gosh, the layers of bad planning here make my head spin. There's so much I want to go off about, and honestly, I could keep yapping forever because the choices here are wild. But before we dive into the real mess, if you could drop a like and subscribe to the channel, that would mean the world to me. Think of it as a little Christmas gift. You click like, hit subscribe, maybe share the video, and boom, holiday cheer delivered. Anyways, enough talking, let's just get right into it. I want to lay down a few things because as a content creator myself, I actually understand this topic more than I'd like to admit. And Frogan, listen. I'm about to give you the real no-sugar reality check. You are not a strong influencer right now, and that's just the truth. You don't know your niche, you don't know your lane, and you don't seem to know where you fit on this giant online chessboard. You barely upload, you barely stream, and when you do stream, the topics are so slow and so empty that nobody sticks around. It's sad, but it's also the reality you keep dodging. Second thing, when she says stuff like, well, things have been bad and I hate it, but I gotta work because it's my job, I just sit there like, Frogan, you do know you can pick up more than one job, right? Lots of people out here juggle 2 or even 3 gigs just to stay afloat, and I respect those folks because they hustle to eat, to pay bills, to take care of family. Whatever their reason is, they push through. So Frogan, why act like you're trapped? You could work at Burger King and still stream on Twitch if you truly wanted it. I've said this before, and I'll say it again louder. There is absolutely nothing wrong with getting a regular job while you chase your dream. Nobody should be shamed for working, ever. I'm not the type to go, haha, you make fast food, because that's ridiculous. Honest work is honest work, and pretending it's beneath someone is wild. And honestly, when someone comes from a privileged position, like being a YouTuber with a following, it looks even worse to mock regular work. Anyone who calls that out would be totally right. So if you can't cut it as a Twitch streamer right now, then the smart play is simple. Make sure you don't end up homeless, tighten up your money, and pick up a job. Burger King, Target, wherever, while you rebuild your path. It's not shameful, it's survival. I believe she even has a degree, right? She actually graduated from university, so it's not like she's destined to scrub floors or anything. And again, there is nothing wrong with that kind of work. If a job pays you well enough to live, or even just keeps the lights on, I will never shame anyone for doing it. That's not the point here at all. What really gets me is the entitlement energy coming off this whole situation. I'm someone who genuinely believes the world doesn't owe you a single thing. Not one favor, not one shortcut, nothing. You want to reach a goal? You gotta grind for it. You want to build something? You gotta put in the hours. Nobody is required to hand you success, and nobody is required to pay your bills or worship your content just because you think they should. I don't deserve your money, I don't deserve 1 million subscribers, and I definitely don't deserve a giant mansion unless I work my way there. It's all about hustling, learning, and being smart with every move you make, especially your money. That's how it works for everyone, no exceptions. So when I hear Twitch streamers or influencers say things like, I deserve 1 million views because my videos are so good, I have to ask, according to who? Or when someone goes, I deserve 20,000 live viewers because I defend his son, I just stare like, what? None of that earns automatic success, and pretending otherwise is wild. And honestly, you are one of the weakest live streamers I've ever watched. And that's saying something because I've even tuned into an FR stream just to understand what it was. It was unbelievably dull. I'd genuinely rather watch paint dry in slow motion than sit through another FR live stream ever again. Ever again. Truly ever again. And look, I don't feel bad for you at all, because you're a full-grown adult in your 20s, and you gave this whole thing a shot, but it clearly didn't land the way you hoped. Now it's time to get a real job, plain and simple. There's no mystery puzzle here, just reality knocking loud. Or here's an even better idea. You can do both until something finally takes off. Before my YouTube channel ever went anywhere, I used to go to university full-time, miles away from home. I'd spend the whole day in classes, commute back exhausted, and still sit down to record videos because that's what it took. Homework, projects, deadlines, all stacked on top of trying to build something from scratch. And guess what? I still made it work. So Rogan, you could absolutely juggle a normal job while streaming until one of them actually grows. But you can't drop your steady option before the risky one succeeds. That's just common sense. I would have never dropped out of university with only 10,000 subscribers, or even 100,000, or honestly not even 250,000. Some people gamble early and it pays off. But for most folks, the whole thing collapses within a year or two. It's a risky game, sure, but if you play it smart, it can work. The problem is, Rogan went about it in all the wrong ways imaginable. And now she's shocked that nobody's tuning into the content she keeps pushing out. Like, really? You put out half-baked videos with no energy, no spark, no personality, and then wonder why the views don't show up. It's like saying, wow, I make bland content and no one watches it. I'm not funny, I'm not entertaining, I'm not charismatic. How shocking. That's the part that gets me every time. People want something to connect with, something that pulls them in, not a stream about absolutely nothing with zero effort behind it. And these crocodile tears, they're not doing anything for me, boo. They're just not. You can't cry your way into success. You gotta build it, earn it, and show people why they should care in the first place. I mean, you could just put out good content, you know? That's literally an option. Just a simple suggestion. Maybe try posting something solid, something with effort, something that isn't tossed together at the last second. If you did that, people might watch, people might not, but I can promise you almost anything would be 1,000,000 times better than the stuff you've been uploading lately, and it really doesn't help that you come off incredibly annoying and wildly unlikable on stream. On top of that, you say the most questionable, messy things, then laugh like it's cute, and then start crying when the internet pushes back. That cycle alone tells me you honestly put yourself in this situation. And yeah, I know earlier I said nobody deserves anything, but I'll flip it here.
I have no pity at all for any fucking soldiers. US military? Who fucking who? I hope you get PTSD.
This downfall, you walked right into it. If she has to quit her online job to get a normal job, I genuinely think that's the best move for her right now. That's not even shade. That's practical advice for her own mental health and financial stability. Quit Twitch for a while, or at least do it part-time and go secure something real that pays your bills without stress. Because begging for money every stream and having a little rent bar in the corner like a donation thermometer is beyond embarrassing. That's one thing I will never do. Absolutely never. There are plenty of things I might do, but begging strangers to pay my rent is not on the list. That's way too low, even for me. And trust me, my bar is already pretty flexible. So no, I don't feel bad for Rogan at all. Like, women clap if you care that Rogan's going homeless, because I don't. Not even a little bit. And honestly, me when I'm lying, I don't think there's a single person on this planet who's ever said, you know what? That Rogan chick is hilarious. I gotta give her some of my money. That sentence has never been spoken in human history. If Rogan counts as funny, then by those standards, I must be the greatest comedian ever created. Like, seriously, come on. You know what? I think I fully understand how people like this behave and operate even without knowing who she's talking to on the phone. And honestly, I don't even care. Let me just use Rogan and that guy as a perfect example of how this pattern always plays out. These two are absolute nobodies online. And I'm not saying that to be mean, I'm saying it because it's true. They have almost zero presence. Nobody outside their tiny, dusty little circle even knows they exist. And here's the real honest part. The reason so many people don't succeed online, and the reason these two in particular are failing so loudly, is simple. They sit around complaining like, oh no, I can't work online, I might have to get a real job. Like the world just betrayed them. Yes, you might need a real job. That's literally the grown-up solution. And here comes the bombshell. They don't put in the work. They post once a month and act like that should carry them to fame, when it absolutely won't. Only a tiny handful of creators, maybe 20 to 30, can get away with uploading once a month because their audience is huge and loyal. Rogan is not on that list. Not even close. When she uploads, she's lucky to scrape 1,000 views, and even that feels generous. It's not fate, not bad luck. It's a lack of passion and a lack of consistency. And trust me, I can call this out because I actually know what I'm talking about. I'm a YouTuber. I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years straight. I've been around long enough to understand exactly how this game works. I know what happens when you upload a ton, like 20 to 30 videos a month, and I know what happens when you barely post at all. Consistency creates momentum. Doing nothing creates nothing. That's the whole secret, and it's wild how many people still refuse to believe it. And I know exactly what happens when you upload 10 to 20 videos per month. I've lived it. I'm saying all this as someone who actually understands how this whole system works, even if I'm not claiming to be some master expert. The truth is simple. It's the lack of consistency and the lack of passion that keeps destroying your ability to make money online. That's the whole problem right there. These are the types of people who spend weeks putting together a video that barely anyone will watch, and then wonder why nothing is taking off. And look, if that long, slow video is your passion project, that's perfectly fine. Chase your creativity. But does it pay the bills? No, it absolutely does not. And that's the part too many people refuse to face. This whole situation is a perfect example of that. And if you follow me on Twitter, which you should, by the way, link in the description, you already saw my reaction. I said, me watching this, and posted the NATO laughing clip because that was literally me in real time. I couldn't help it. The whole thing was wild to watch unfold. Any psychologist watching me right now, feel free to diagnose me for laughing at this moment, because I really couldn't hold it in. Even another unemployed YouTuber, WestJet, jumped in and joked that the DoorDash drivers in her area are crying right now. And honestly, she might not be wrong. I genuinely believe Rogan might have been keeping the Uber Eats and DoorDash community financially thriving just through her constant food orders alone. Because one thing we all know is she does not cook. Not even a little. She legitimately orders almost all her meals, like 90% of them. And when you factor in California taxes, delivery fees, and the fact that you're expected to tip because it's America and tipping is basically mandatory, suddenly your $20 Taco Bell order magically becomes $30 before you even blink. It adds up fast, and it's wild she didn't see this financial storm coming. But hey, actions have consequences, and this whole thing is just another reminder that online success requires effort, planning, and real discipline, not just vibes and delivery apps. All right, so I genuinely didn't realize she made enough from streaming to skip having a second job. Now I'm sitting here wondering how she managed to keep things afloat for this long just off streaming alone. Because we all know her son Piker isn't donating a thing. That guy didn't even help Dennis or Casey Tron with their legal fund after saying he would, and he totally vanished when it came time to follow through. If you've seen my videos on all this, then you already know the whole lore behind it. But now I'm actually curious about Rogan's Twitch stats, so I had to look into it myself. All right, here we go. Rogan's numbers. Peak viewers around 400. I'm guessing that's lifetime. Average viewers around 94. Is that correct? 0 active subs. That can't be right, right? All-time subs almost hitting 2,000, which honestly isn't bad at all. I guess this really proves that almost anyone can build an audience if they stick with it long enough. Now let's look at the full stats. Apparently, she somehow peaked at 20,000 viewers. Is that for real? That number looks unreal for her channel. So I'm assuming that must have been during the Sun Raid, because otherwise, 20,000 live viewers seems downright impossible. I don't know every detail of Twitch's system, but if she's been doing this since 2018, 2019, or even 2020, she should have saved up a decent chunk of money by now. Not retirement money, but definitely enough so she wouldn't be crying on stream about needing another job because streaming isn't cutting it anymore. That's the part that blows my mind. And meanwhile, those nails she has on, easily $200 plus. Like, guys, I'm broke, but I still have money to get my nails done. The math is not adding up. And then when she shows up wearing a little Subway cap, acting like it's some kind of insult, come on now. I take zero disrespect towards Subway workers. Subway rules. I love Subway. And it's honestly one of the most underrated spots out there. Put the fries in the bag, make the sandwich right. It's an honest job. And that's my genuine question here. How is regular work somehow beneath you when it's literally saving people every day? Does anyone out there actually feel bad for Rogan and this whole situation she's put herself in? Because I don't. Not even a little. Maybe that makes me odd. Maybe I'm wired differently. Maybe I'm just built for observing chaos without flinching. Who knows? But I truly don't feel sympathy here, and I genuinely don't care to pretend otherwise. It's almost funny to wonder whether his son is gonna swoop in to rescue poor little Rogan, but let's be honest, I seriously doubt it. That man doesn't exactly have a track record of helping the people he claims he'll help, so I'm not holding my breath. And then, everyone's favorite finance amigo, Caleb Hammer, stepped into the chat, which I did not expect at all. He responded to Rogan with, "You're formally invited on Financial Audit." And honestly, I would absolutely pay to see that episode. If they put it behind a paywall, I'd drop $2 in a heartbeat just to watch Rogan sit across from Caleb and try to explain her finances. That alone would create months of content, pure gold. And think about this. If she's already acting like this before the lawsuit even fully hits, imagine how things could get afterward. I don't even want to picture the meltdown that might follow if she doesn't settle, goes all the way to court, and ends up losing. That scenario would be a whole storm of consequences. At that point, the most practical move might honestly be to step back, breathe, and restart somewhere with a normal job that actually pays steady money. She could go work at McDonald's and probably make more than she's earning from her streams right now. She could walk into a Wendy's and likely pull in more stable income too. Jack in the Box, sure, why not? You're in California, go work at In-N-Out, seriously. Try not to eat the burgers every shift, but the job itself pays really well. And honestly, jokes aside, it would still be way better than whatever she's making on Twitch right now. No shade, just reality. Like, how much could she actually be pulling in from those streams? $1,000 a month? That doesn't stretch at all in California. In my opinion, to live comfortably in California, you need somewhere between $7,000 to $12,000 a month. And that's if you already own a place. Because if you're renting and want even a halfway decent apartment, you're looking at $3,000 to $4,000 just for rent alone. Maybe more. That's half a paycheck gone instantly, and the month hasn't even started yet. So let's be honest, Rogan. Getting a real job would genuinely make you more money than Twitch ever will for you right now. There is no world where you're clearing more than $2,000 a month from donations alone. And even if you were, that amount is still nothing in a state as expensive as California. That kind of income would drain your savings, your energy, and your mental health in record time. And then someone pops up with this crazy idea saying, just get a job and stream when you're off work. Meaning, work double time. And she goes, no thanks. I only want one job. I'm that privileged. And that right there says everything about why this situation keeps snowballing. You can't want the rewards without doing the work. Not in this economy. So here we are. Casey Tron already fell from grace. Dennis is actively falling, Rogan is wobbling in slow motion, seconds, maybe days, away from hitting rock bottom financially, and honestly, I'm smiling. Not out of cruelty, but because these are consequences that were knocking for a long time, and the door finally swung open. Before you go, if you enjoyed this breakdown, please like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment. It genuinely means a lot to me and helps keep this channel alive. Your support lets me keep making content, so thank you in advance.